Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a single human story and using it to sort of connect with the sheer scale of World War II.
Exactly, because it's through these individual experiences that you really grasp the true cost beyond just the dates and the big battles.
And the story we're focusing on is that of Joseph A. Enneking, a young soldier from Kelly, Kansas.
That's right, Joseph A. Enneking. And we've pieced this together using, well, a mix of sources. We have some very personal things, bits from a family blog, local newspaper clippings.
From the Courier Tribune, I see.
Yes, that one. And then we have the military context from places like Wikipedia, DTIC.mil, that's the Defense Technical Information Center, and Normandy American Heroes.
So the mission today is to weave these together, not just the what happened, but the ripple effects.
Precisely. The impact on his family, his community, and understanding exactly where he was, what was happening in those final days. We're aiming for those moments where, a name on a list becomes a real person for you.
Okay, let's start there then. Let's meet Joseph. Where did he come from?
Well, Joseph A. Enneking was born February 6, 1920, in Kelly, Kansas. He was, believe it or not, the seventh of 10 children.
10 kids. Wow. That immediately paints a picture of, well, rural life back then.
It really does. He grew up pretty typically for the time and place, went to Kelly grade school, worked on the family farm, helped out neighbors too. But there's an interesting detail. He actually faced a significant health issue. He had back problems.
Really? Before the war?
Yeah, bad enough that he needed back surgery.
That's incredible. And he still served.
He did, which I think tells you something about the sense of duty, maybe.
Yeah.
He was inducted in November 1942.
Okay, 42. So after Pearl Harbor.
Right. He did his basic training down in Louisiana and then spent a full 2 years stateside before heading overseas.
2 years stateside. That's quite a while. Any idea what that involved? Was it more training, waiting for deployment?
It could be a mix of things, advanced training, maybe filling roles within units stateside. But yeah, 2 years is a significant period before facing combat.
And then he ships out. Where did he end up?
He went to France. His sister, a Mrs. Ben Holthouse, believed he went straight there from the U.S. And he'd only been in France for about 3 months when the first piece of news arrived back home.
The bad news.
Ye bad news. On Monday, October 16th, 1944, this is documented in the Courier Tribune, his parents, Mr. and Mrs. Joseph Enneking, got a telegram.
Oh, no.
It said their son, Private First Class Joseph A. Enneking, was missing in action.
Missing. Since when?
Since October 13th, 1944, just 3 days prior.
Wow. And the last they'd heard from him.
They had a letter dated October 4th, so just over a week before he went missing.
God, that limbo. Missing in action. You can only imagine the sheer agony for his parents, his family, just waiting, hoping.
Absolutely. And that waiting, that hope, it didn't last long, but it must have felt like an eternity.
What happened next?
The very next week, this was before December 7th, 1944, according to another report, a second message arrived.
And this one?
This one changed the status from missing to killed in action on the same date, October 13th.
So he was killed that day. He wasn't missing.
It seems that way. The initial report was incorrect or perhaps just delayed information. He was 24 years old.
24. Just devastating. That quick shift from missing to killed. It's a particularly cruel aspect of wartime communication, isn't it?
It is. No time to even process the possibility before the finality hits. And this loss, it wasn't just felt by the family, it hit the whole community of Kelly hard.
I can imagine. Small town like that, everyone knows everyone.
Exactly. And adding to the family's burden, Joseph had a brother, Rokas Enneking, who was also serving.
Oh, wow. Where was he?
He was a private stationed at Camp Fannin in Texas at the time. So one son killed overseas, another still in training or service stateside.
Yeah.
Just immense pressure on the family.
Unbelievable. How did the community show its support?
Well, they held memorial services at St. Bede's Church there in Kelly. It became a real focal point for the community's grief.
A shared experience.
Very much so. On Tuesday, December 7th, 1944, Pearl Harbor Day, no less they held a high mass of requiem. Father Placidus Kiefer officiated. And Father Matthew Hall from nearby Seneca gave the sermon. It was described as both patriotic and consoling, trying to find meaning, comfort.
In the midst of such loss, were others there? Veterans?
Yes, the American Legion sent representatives. And touchingly, 2 local boys who were home on leave, Callistus Kramer and Clarence Kongs, they attended the service too.
Wow, that really shows the solidarity, doesn't it? Soldiers honoring a fallen comrade, even while on their own brief respite from the war.
It paints a powerful picture of that community bond. Okay, so we've talked about Joseph, his family, the community's grief. Now, let's zoom in on where this happened, the battlefield itself.
Right. October 13th, 1944. Where was Joseph?
He was a PFC in the 313th Infantry Regiment,
Okay.
part of the 79th Infantry Division. And on that day, they were fighting in a place called the Forêt de Parois.
The Perroy Forest.
Yeah.
In Lorraine, eastern France.
Precisely. This was part of the bigger Lorraine campaign. It's maybe not as famous as Normandy or the Bulge, but it was incredibly tough fighting.
Yeah, forest fighting is notoriously brutal. What was the objective there?
The 79th Division, as part of the larger XV Corps, was tasked with clearing the Germans out of this forest. It was heavily wooded, heavily defended.
So slow, grinding work.
Very slow. Their specific goal around October 13th was to capture a village called Embermenil and the ridgeline just east of the forest, but German resistance was fierce.
And this fight in the Perroy Forest wasn't just a one-day thing?
Oh, not at all. The operation to clear the forest started way back on September 28th.
Wow. End of September.
And it didn't officially end until October 24th. So Joseph was killed right in the middle of this sustained, month-long battle.
Daily attacks, difficult terrain.
Exactly. On the 13th itself, the division was pushing its offensive east of the forest. The 313th, Joseph's regiment, was right in the thick of it, trying to root out Germans from fortified positions in the woods, trying to advance.
Just brutal, close-quarters combat. It puts his sacrifice into such sharp focus, knowing the specific environment.
It really does. It wasn't a sweeping advance. It was a hard, dangerous slog, foot by foot.
So what happened after? In terms of remembrance, where does his story end, physically?
Joseph is buried over there, in France, at the United States Military Cemetery in Epinal.
Epinal, okay.
His headstone is simple, direct. It reads, Joseph Enneking, Jr., PFC 313M79, Div, Kansas, October 13, 1944.
A permanent marker of his service and sacrifice. Did the family receive anything?
They did. His parents received the American flag that draped his casket during the burial service.
A powerful, solemn keepsake.
And what's really quite moving is what happened to that flag. It wasn't just kept privately.
Oh.
It's now housed in a special display cabinet built in the vestibule of St. Bede's Church back in Kelly.
Back in his hometown church.
Yeah, alongside flags for other local men killed in the war and flags of veterans from Kelly who've passed away since.
That's incredible, a collective memorial right there in the church entrance.
And it's not just a static display either. Since 1982, every single Memorial Day, those flags, including Joseph's, are flown in the Avenue of Flags at the Kelly Cemetery.
Wow. Decades later, that tradition continues. That's a powerful testament to how his memory and the memory of others is actively kept alive.
It really is. It shows how community doesn't forget.
So going through Joseph Enneking's story, from his, ordinary life in Kansas, dealing with back surgery, serving his country, to those final horrific moments in the Forêt de Paroy, it really does make the history personal.
It bridges that gap, doesn't it, between the abstract idea of war and the individual human cost. You see the ripples, the family's grief, the community's response, the specific brutal nature of the fighting he
It
faced.
gives you that deeper layer of understanding beyond the troop movements and casualty figures.
Definitely. And it makes you think, doesn't it? This story was preserved, pieced together from family memories, old newspapers, military records. It survived. So the thought maybe to leave you with is this. How many other stories like Joseph's are out there? Maybe in your own family history or your own community's past.
Stories waiting to be connected to the bigger picture.
Exactly. And maybe thinking about Joseph's experience, understanding that personal side. How does that change the way you look at those grand historical narratives we always hear about? Does it make them feel different? More real?